Hi everybody, I'm Bruce Vonderhaar. Welcome to Take 10. This is a program in partnership with the Joplin Globe, Joplin Schools, and Jet 14. Today, in today's show, we're going to talk, we're going to do things a little different. We have a sports broadcasting class at Joplin High School, and we have in that class a weekly sports talk show. We're going to showcase a couple of the guys that are on our weekly sports show and our resident experts in some areas, and I think you'll be surprised on just how much knowledge these guys have in certain areas in sports. So let me introduce our guests today. We have senior Tim Pendergraph and junior Eddie Wilson, and we are going to talk with them. We're going to talk regional sports, and Tim's going to talk about the St. Louis Cardinals. Eddie, obviously, is going to, with the Chiefs shirt on, is going to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. So Tim, let's start with you. And I thought I knew a lot about the St. Louis Cardinals, but Tim knows even more than I do, which is a great accomplishment for Tim. So as we sit here today, the Cardinals are in first place in the National League Central, doing very well. Has their start surprised you? I know it's surprised a lot of people nationwide. Has it surprised you on how well the Cardinals have started off?
Well, if you just look at their team last year, and basically their problem was how many blown saves they give. Their bullpen was horrible last year, 31 blown saves. And I think the difference between this year and last year is you look at Ryan Franklin, the closer role this year, he's perfect 6 for 6. They've only given up 3 blown saves this year, and they're 14-7, so they've been doing pretty well. And when you look at the aspect, I mean, one was from Jason Mott on opening day. I mean, you know, nervousness there. And then you got Kyle McClellan gave up a blown save last night. But, you know, Kyle McClellan's been very good this year. You know, every once in a while he'll have a bad game, but for the most part, their bullpen's been very solid. And right now, they actually lead all of Major League Baseball in runs produced for an offense. And that's, of course, you got Pujols and then Ryan Ludwig, who's pretty much showing everyone he can redo what he did last year. And then you've got a healthy Chris Duncan, who had neck surgery and got a titanium disc put in his neck. He's been doing a lot better. Rick Ankiel's starting to come back around. And then you've got the additions of Khalil Green. Yadier Molina's been doing very well. And then Skip Schumacher moving to second base to open up some of that offensive proportion for the outfield. Of course, they got their top prospect, Colby Rasmus, up right now. And, you know, he's not, you know, basically enthralled anyone quite yet, but, you know, he's always been notorious for getting off to slow starts in the minor leagues. Just give him a little bit and he'll roll around. Yeah. So they've been doing pretty well.
Now, what would you say about the offense? Because a lot of people in the offseason were upset that the Cardinals didn't make a whole lot of offseason moves. As it turns out, it's working out pretty well. Troy Gloss is still hurt, but that platoon at third base is working out pretty well. And Schumacher, as you mentioned, is moving from the outfield to second base. So some new guys and some new spots, but it seems to be working for him so far.
Well, one thing that Tony La Russa is famed for is being able to work his bench and get the most out of his players. And when you look at guys like Brian Barden, and then you've got Joe Thurston, and you just look at Brendan Ryan, those 3 players, those are the bread and butter of this team. I mean, Joe Thurston's came off, and Brian Barden's came off. They're just sitting there filling in for Troy Glaus, and they've done a heck of a job. You look at Brian Barden and Joe Thurston both batting over 300. Brian Barden already has 3 home runs. Yeah. And, I mean, it's giving them some breathing room without Troy Glaus in the lineup. Then you look at, I mean, last year, what really infringed upon Chris Duncan was his ability to make the power swing. He was injured, which is why he had surgery. And a healthy him, I mean, if you look back a couple years ago, he was a threat. I mean, the first half of I think it was the 2006 season, he hit like 20 home runs, but then he really trailed off at the end of the year. And then the season before that, when he came up halfway through the year, he was just on fire. And when he came up, he hit 22 home runs that year. Yeah. I mean, when he's healthy, he's a force. And then, of course, you got Pujols, who's always, you know, one of the best hitters. Yeah. Pretty good. Yeah. He's probably the best hitter in baseball.
Absolutely. And then their starting pitching has been good, too, other than, you know, 1 or 2 here and there, but their starting pitching has been good. Let's go to the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll get back to Tim here in a minute. And the draft, Eddie just finished up. I think the Chiefs surprised some people when they took a defensive player. Everybody would thought, well, they're going to take Aaron Curry, but instead they go for a defensive end, Tyson Jackson out of LSU. Did that surprise you that the Chiefs took him with the number 3 overall pick?
It did surprise me, but apparently it's the guy Pioli wanted. I mean, you know, in this draft, a lot of people said it's not one of the best drafts in the past 10 years. And so Pioli did his own thing and got the guys he wanted, such as Tyson Jackson. Some people call it a reach, but it's not a reach when you want the best player.
Right. If your guy is available at your spot, doesn't matter where the pick is, you take him. And then they didn't have a second-round pick, but they used that to trade off and get Matt Castle, and a lot of people are excited about Matt Castle. talk about him, and do you really think he can make a difference in Kansas City as the new quarterback?
Absolutely. I mean, when was the last time the Chiefs had a bona fide franchise quarterback? I mean, Lynn Dawson, I
Joe
guess.
Montana briefly, yeah.
But I mean,
but a good young quarterback, you're right. Yeah.
That we can actually build the team around. And he'll fit perfectly into the offense that Haley will create. I mean, it's just going to be the Arizona/New England kind of offense with 3 receivers on the field at all times.
And then some big news recently is that Tony Gonzalez was traded for a second-round pick next year to the Falcons. I know a lot of Chiefs fans obviously love Tony Gonzalez, and he'll go into the Hall of Fame, obviously. But what were your thoughts about Tony leaving, and what kind of hole is that going to leave for the Chiefs?
Well, if there's a time to trade Tony, it would have been now because we got a second-round pick for him, which is excellent. I mean, for a 33-year-old tight end, how many second-round picks are you going to get for him? I mean, that's good. Obviously, Pioli is not afraid of losing his job, saying that he'll have a pick next year. But the biggest thing with Tony, though, is that tight ends aren't a really big part of the offense. I mean, look at New England and Arizona. Mm-hmm. They can get away with having just big blocking tight ends, which is what we have now with Brad Cotton. But Tony, he'll be missed and all, but it's just going to be really weird for Chiefs fans to watch this new offense that features receivers, not a tight end.
So do you think that the Chiefs have the receivers to excel in this new offense?
The most important free agent acquisition outside of Castle, I think, was Bobby Ingram, because he'll play that slot receiver, the Wes Welker type role. Mm-hmm. I mean, that'll basically be an extension of the running game, which that'll help out a lot. I mean, just those 5 to 7 yard passes, just boom, boom, boom. And then you have Dwayne Bowe, who he'll learn from Ingram, right. Older veteran, to run routes better, because he'll be the more Anquan Bolden type role in the offense, the big, powerful receiver. And Mark Bradley, he should fit in nicely as the number 2 receiver on the outside. But I think in the next couple of years, the Chiefs will get another good receiver to go along with Bowe and Ingram.
Were you happy with the head coach? Todd Haley came over from Arizona as the offensive coordinator. What did you think about that hire? And is that something that gets you excited to have that guy in Kansas City?
Because it's nice to see a confident coach there and not a player's coach, because as you can see with the Herm Edwards thing, that didn't really work out all that well because the players kind of took advantage of that. Now we have borderline arrogant coaches, but it's a good kind because, I mean, look at New England. You think Belichick's not the most arrogant coach? I mean, it's obviously a good thing to have some arrogance, but not that much. What I think Todd has the perfect balance.
I think so too.
It'll be good.
Let's go back and get some predictions from you two. We have just about a minute and a half left. The rest of the way, can the Cardinals hang on? I mean, can they control the Cubs, keep the Cubs at arm's length, and can they get a Central Division title or a wild card, in your opinion? It's a long season. Can the Cardinals continue to play this well?
Well, 2 things I've liked in the early goings about the St. Louis Cardinals is, one, their starting pitching, which we've seen very good improvements from Joel Pinheiro. He's been pitching superbly. Then Loge, again, has been good this year so far. And then Wainwright's starting to roll around. I mean, he did really well his last start, 7 innings pitched, 1 run, which wasn't even earned, and 6 strikeouts. And then you got to think of when Chris Carpenter comes back, because his injury wasn't even an arm injury. It was a strained oblique muscle, which means it's not going to infringe upon him pitching-wise once he comes back. And then they're going to get Troy Glaus, which when you get those 2 players back off the disabled list, they're going to be a huge lift for this team. Plus, we've seen that whenever Chris Carpenter's around, the team performs very well because, you know, he's just a likable guy and just a guy that everyone wants to strive to support.
The Chiefs next year, are we going to see them in the top 5 in the draft again next year, or can they win 7, 8, 9 games, maybe even more next year?
Oh, they're not going to be in the top 5. Seeing the quick turnarounds the Falcons and the Dolphins have done, it's because they had Patriot guys in there. Now we finally have Patriot guys. All right. I mean, it helps. I don't see us winning a Super Bowl or anything, but a winning season isn't out of the picture by any means.
You're on the right track for sure. All right, well, as you can see, these guys know their area pretty well and pretty impressive young men. Appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon. You're watching Take 10 from Joplin Globe, Jet 14, and Joplin Schools. I'm Bruce Vonderhaar. Again, thank you for watching.